Okay.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Village Bartlett Board meeting for November 18th, 2025. I would ask clerk to please call the roll.
Trustee Bannerman?
Here.
Daney?
Here.
Gansey? Here. Hopkins?
Here.
Laporte?
Here.
Swansky?
Here.
President Goodstein?
Here.
Pledge of allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay.
All right. That'll take us to our town hall portion of the meeting. If anybody is in the audience or online that would like to speak, please do so by filling out a form and handing it to our clerk. Please come up to the podium, address your name and your address, and please try to keep your comments to 3 minutes or less.
Mike Hogan?
All right. Good evening, trustees and staff. My name is Mike Hogan. I serve as the president of Bartlett Little League. Thank you for this opportunity to speak tonight. I do have two topics I would like to bring forward, one requiring resolution and one focused on a long-term partnership with the village. Topic one is the Rizika Park and Raiders football agreement we have long-standing. First, I want to address the ongoing issue at Rizika involving the shared use agreement between Bartlett Little League and the Raiders football program. I want to begin by saying this clearly. My intention is not to criticize or attack the Raiders. We want a resolution, not conflict. Under our lease agreement with the village, August 1 through November 30 is Raiders season, during which they are responsible for reimbursing us for the water, electric, and gas. December 1 through February 28 is joint season, and we split costs 50-50, and then we control the rest of the year. As of now, the Raiders owe us approximately $4,000 in unpaid reimbursements. Communication regarding repayment has stalled, and this leaves Bartlett Little League carrying expenses that are clearly not our responsibility during that time period. Additionally, the fields at Rizika were not maintained during their season, and the park has been left in an unacceptable condition with overgrown areas, trash, and damage to the grounds. Because our name is on the lease, we are ultimately held accountable for the appearance and the condition of village-owned property. We are simply requesting the village assistance in bringing all parties together to resolve this matter and establish a clear, enforceable process moving forward. The village does have a vested interest in this as the landowner, and we believe collaboration is the only productive path forward. Our goal is to make Rizika a clean, safe, and well-maintained park that reflects well on Bartlett. All right, topic two is a little bit longer, would really just be a discussion starter. We would like to try and partner with the village to help improve Kohler Fields. Our program is growing rapidly. Enrollment has increased by roughly 25% year over year, and last season we had nearly 400 Bartlett kids playing baseball. While our enrollment grows, the number of volunteers has sharply declined. Today, only a very small group of individuals handles all field maintenance at Kohler, and they work incredibly hard, but it's not sustainable. As we travel to other towns for games and tournaments, we see a clear difference. Their parks are significantly better maintained, and when we ask how they manage it, we hear the same answer. Their villages support their youth programs with lawn care, building maintenance, and capital improvements. Many towns provide mowing and turf care, the restrooms and concession building upkeep, centralized modern facilities, structural field maintenance. By comparison, Kohler's concession stand and bathrooms are the furthest from the fields among any surrounding towns, and modern complexes place the building at the center of the diamonds for the safety and convenience and accessibility. Even if the village were to assist only with lawn care, that alone would free our limited volunteer crew to focus on baseball-specific tasks. Being able to maintain pitchers' mounds, repair batting boxes, clear the base paths, and improve safety and playability. Over time, we would like to explore a partnership for a centrally located building at Kohler that better serves the community. And at our recent district president's meeting, Huntley's Little League was named as a finalist to host the Girls World Series of Softball. It's a direct result of the league having a vision and the village being willing to match that vision with investment. And that's how I see Bartlett. We have a new, energized board with a clear plan for the future. We are implementing strong policies, investing in new programs, and working hard to make Bartlett a destination for youth baseball. And we think with the support of the village, we believe we can create something truly special for our families and children. Thank you for your time and your commitment to our community. We look forward to working with the village to resolve the Rizika situation and build a long-term plan for elevating Kohler to a standard that reflects the pride of Bartlett.
Thank you, Mike.
I have, if needed currently, the lease agreement we have with the village for Raiders and Bartlett.
Since we have this lease agreement, have there been contact with them throughout this time period with the Raiders? Yes. Like, so if they're supposed to be taking care of it, how do we enforce that if it's our lease?
Our agreement stipulates that we pay, Bartlett Little League pays all the bills, then we forward those bills, and Raiders football has a 30-day window to pay it back. It just hasn't been met. We have had communication throughout the past couple of years, but the channels of communication have deteriorated, and that's what brings me in front of you guys today, that we're just looking for help resolving it.
When does that lease expire?
Not for some time.
Is this something we can put on our committee agenda to talk about different options? Or can staff meet with them, come up with a resolution?
May 2029.
May 2029. So I have read the lease multiple times. I think it's probably a good idea for staff, myself, and the presidents of both organizations to sit down and see if it's a viable lease at this point, if they're going to maintain or not maintain, and both parties come to an agreement on a restructured plan. To address your second part of it, which is something that's been ongoing, we have been working diligently to come up with a plan to better modernize Kohler Fields. It's a great field. It's a gem. It needs some modernization.
Yes.
So what I'd like to do is set up a time where we can actually get some feedback from the board members, and thank you for being the new president, the board members from the Bartlett Little League to help generate some ideas that, we can see a path going forward.
Sure.
Generating that. I know that I've reached out to Public Works recently. The parking lot lights were just replaced with LED, and we're looking at other options for the fields as well. But it has been an ongoing topic that's been resurrected at this point. So, so two separate issues, I think two separate meetings we probably need to set up.
Excuse me, Mr. President.
Yep.
Would we not want to involve the Park District to get involved in this?
So this is where I have a gray area with it, in that I understand it is village-owned land. Per our agreements, Bartlett Little League is responsible for all maintenance on that land, with there being a clear divider line on that property where Park District then also leases from the village to maintain and operate fields A, B, and C.
Correct.
I'm unclear of the very specifics of that nature, but our focus would be primarily on the Bartlett Little League operated and run portion of Kohler.
Paula, if you could just reach out to the Park District and see some dates that would work, that we could set up a meeting with the Park District, ourselves, and the two organizations that primarily use the fields, so that we can actually have a roundtable discussion and come up with a better solution for this.
Is there anything in the lease saying, like, if someone doesn't hold up, they're part of the bargain?
I don't know,
It really goes to like arbitration and kind of like this is the next logical step where, because the village is the authority, ideally, like Dan said, it's a mediation where we can sit down and really hammer this thing out and get back to net zero and then figure out either a clearer path forward or dissolve the current agreement, come up with new framework. Whatever the future may hold, that's kind of undetermined. Obviously, there's a lot of shifting sand, but just getting back to square one, I think, would be a great starting point. And then I believe both organizations would work amicably with each other to keep sports happy here.
I believe that both organizations are here for the right reasons, and that's for the kids.
Right.
Wouldn't be here for any other reason, and I believe the Raiders have the same intentions. I think that it's a good starting point to have a meeting to discuss how we move forward.
Yep.
Collaboratively. So I would like the Park District involved in that because they are a stakeholder at Kohler Fields. I think it would be, whether they're just half of the field or the whole field, but I think maybe they can bring some insight. Maybe they can help facilitate some landscaping that they're already doing adjacent to it.
Right.
So we'll get that scheduled, preferably before the end of the year, because I know you guys go into your new year planning in January.
It is, well underway, and then spring.
We'll reach out to the Raiders and try to get that.
Perfect.
Solidified.
More reachable, and it can be casual, so thank you.
Thank you, Mike.
Yep. Did you guys want this copy for reference, or?
You can give it to, he'll pass it down. I think so.
Thank you.
George LeBrun?
Good evening. I feel like this is my second home. It's probably about the 15th time here. I want to talk about Naperville Road. I want to talk about the new possible project going on next to Timberline Townhome Association. And I want to talk about some rumors I've heard about extending or widening the lanes on Naperville Road. So, for everyone else here, I've been involved for over 5 years. Scott, Paula, the whole board here, trying to work out some kind of solution with Naperville Road. If you ever travel on Naperville Road during the daytime and during rush hour traffic, you understand that Timberline is right on Naperville Road, and the traffic is just horrendous. The noise, the dirt that gets over our patios, the dirt that gets over our siding and building, the noise, the speeding, the gravel trucks that make so much noise in the traffic. Since I originally met with Paula and Scott, and we met with Kevin Morrison upstairs, the Cook County Commissioner, our traffic has tripled since then. And your statistics, that the study that you guys did for us years ago, borne out that it doubled initially after when I first met you guys. And it just continues to grow and grow. And Dan, you came to me and asked me to help you get votes in my subdivision.
What?
You had asked me to help you when you were running as a trustee to get votes for you.
5 years ago, yeah.
Yep, and you had the same concerns as I did, because you live right on the corner over here and you have people coming through there, but nothing like we suffer with.
Seems like it's gotten worse.
Yeah, and we're not making any traction. I know you guys did some solutions and you guys always wanted to default to Cook County, and I understand that, but somebody's got to stand up to Cook County. Maybe you got to get your lawyer involved, because this is crazy. I work at St. Andrews Country Club. I'm retired for 2 years now. And a lot of topic that people talk about is how the village board here is more pro-business versus pro-residents. And in my heart, I feel that's very true. I've lived here for 45 years. So I've been here a long time. And I think you guys need to start paying more attention to the residences and what ramifications that you guys approve and do in this village affects us in our lives. Like I said, Speeding is prevalent. The police chief 5 years ago told everybody it was. Nothing's done about that. I know you guys tried to put a stoplight up, which was great. You guys offered to pay half. Of course, Cook County had nothing to do with it. But I'm here to ask you guys to I haven't heard from you guys in over a year. Actually, 2 years. Every time I come here, you guys talk about, yeah, well, we're getting with Cook County, let's get finished with grasslands, and we'll see. And now you're possibly considering building another set of homes right next to us with a street possible entrance into our subdivision, which would be insane because the traffic in our subdivision is heavy as it is with people coming in and out. And if you put that extension in, if you allow this new subdivision, which I don't know why, it's the density in that area is so dense already. It took me 3 minutes to get out of the street today, not to come here, but to go somewhere else where I had to go today. And I think everyone is going to attest that you know the situation with the traffic there, and you guys need to do something about it.
I can assure you that since I got sworn in, I've had 7 conversations with Commissioner Morrison from Cook County, fully understanding that there's future home development there and the current D.H. Horton subdivision that's almost built out. They are actively looking at this in a different light now. They recently sent a letter that they are looking at our study we did and giving it a lot more depth and thought. But I don't hear any rumors of it being widened. So that's not.
I couldn't hear you, sorry.
There's no rumors that I've heard that they're widening it to 4 lanes, just so you know. There's been no conversation with Cook County Department of Transportation regarding widening that at all.
There was a ComEd truck working on the poles on the corner of our Timberline and Naperville Road. Mm-hmm. Previous president, a couple of weeks ago, he had a conversation with that guy, and he said that they're here to surveying, looking at the poles, and to widen the road. And that was their director from Cook County. So I don't know if you guys have spoken with Cook.
I spoke to Cook County on Monday, Commissioner Morrison, and I asked him point blank, there is absolutely no truth to any widening of that road at this point in time. There's been no conversation regarding that at all that he's seen. So it is on their radar. They understand that the inability to fix the problem hinders our ability to continue to grow in our town, and it is on their radar. So
yeah, it's interesting how every main street throughout this village has a no entrance for 12,000 pounds gross vehicle weight, except the street that really needs it. And I know it's part of Cook County. I still blame that on the village for poor planning back 15, 20 years ago, because I have your plans, not to think of the flow of traffic and pattern coming through our Naperville Road.
Well, George, you know that the county has been very firm that that is a truck route. They have no intention of reclassifying that from, that was one of our asks. We continue to push the county for a light at Spalding. We continue to have those conversations with them. They, we send them our speed studies. We send them all the information that we collect to keep this moving, keep this in front of them. And what they've told us is that they will come back out and do their own evaluation for all of those requests when Grasslands is built out, and that will be next summer.
That would be the last phase of Grasslands. So for 3 years, while you guys, all that construction's going on, all those trucks with gravel and cement and all the carpenters and all the other traffic, we still have to deal with that.
that's the unfortunate truth about Cook County having jurisdiction on that road. It's very hard for us to deal and make changes to a road that we don't own or operate. And we have the ear of the commissioners from Cook County. We've told them repeatedly how awful that road is, how many trucks are on that road, and that it's hindering our ability to build out the rest of the resident estates there, the land. So they've heard us, so hopefully we can get some traction, and like Paula said, before summer, maybe. So, but I can assure you that a 4-lane road is not proposed.
What about that new subdivision you guys haven't voted on yet, but I would imagine most of you are in favor of putting that subdivision in?
I think we have to review that application as it comes forward, and that'll be a part of the conversation at that point in time. So,
Because that's way too close to our community, way too close.
okay. Thank you, George.
Yeah, there was something else, but I'll call you. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Nobody's online? All right. Is there anybody else in the audience that'd like to address the board? All right. If not, that'll close our town hall portion, and it'll take us to our consent agenda. All items listed with an asterisk would be considered routine and enacted in one motion. There will be no separate discussion for these items unless a board member so requests, in which the item will be removed from the general order of business and considered at appropriate time on the agenda. With that said, is there anything that anybody would like to add or remove from the consent agenda?
Yes, Mr. President, I'd like to add item F1.
F1. Any questions or concerns regarding adding F1? All right. Anybody else? All right. Can I get a motion to approve the modified consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by trustee Daney, second by trustee Laporte. Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Betterman,
Yes.
Daney,
Yes.
Gansey,
Yes.
Hopkins, Laporte,
Yes.
Sawansky.
Yes.
All right. Can I get a motion to approve the amended consent?
So moved.
By trustee Daney,
Second.
seconded by trustee Laporte. Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Daney,
Yes.
Gansey,
Yes.
Hopkins, Laporte,
Yes.
Sawansky,
Yes.
Betterman.
Yes.
That motion carries. That'll take us to our treasurer's report. Mr. Treasurer?
Mayor. The treasurer's report included in the board packet is for the month of September. Our sales tax continues to do really good. Sales tax collected in September was for the month of June and totaled $673,538, which is up $305,643, or 83% from the prior year. Motor fuel tax allotments received for September were $164,417, which is up $4,201, or 2.6% from the prior year. And our state income tax received in September was $366,019, which is up $6,257, or 1.7% from the prior year. Overall income tax is up $201,024 compared to this time last year. That's it for the treasurer's report, unless there's any questions.
Any questions for the treasurer? All right. Thank you, Mr. Treasurer. That'll take us to our president's report, our 2025 auditor's report.
I'll introduce Jamie Wilkie. She's a partner with Lauterbach and Amen, the auditing firm we use, and she's going to go over our fiscal year 25 audit.
Thank you, Matt. Thank you for having me this evening. As Matt indicated, we'll be providing a high-level overview of the results of the audit. Matt will be following my page number references as we go through this evening. Certainly want to start by thanking Matt and his team in the finance department. As with past years, when we get to come to present, I'm happy to report another successful audit this year. The team was well prepared, coordinated with us, provided all of the necessary information we needed. So we certainly want to thank the team for all of their hard work again this year. We do have about 190 pages in the annual audit. I promise we will not cover those in detail tonight. We could be here for days. But what we have provided this evening is some of the few key highlights and areas within the audit to focus your time and energy. So we'll start on page 7 of the audit document, which provides the Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting. We do point out this award each year as this is another independent review of the village's audit. That review is conducted by the Government Finance Officers Association, or GFOA. This award is really deemed the highest level reporting that any local or state government can undertake. Really, viewed positively by bondholders, bond rating agencies. There's quite a bit of additional transparency information that's provided in order to receive that award. So this is a copy of last year's award. We will again be submitting to the program this year. We as a firm and the village have a 100% retention rate of that award, so we feel pretty confident that this year's audit will again meet that prestigious criteria. Immediately after that award, you'll find the independent auditor's opinion. So current state statute does require that every local government undertake an independent audit each year. That is done within 6 months after the close of the fiscal year. So we have for you, obviously, this evening, the final version of those results. We have issued what we call an unmodified or clean audit opinion. That is the highest level opinion that the village can receive each year, and that indicates that the financial statements that are presented are in fact materially correct. As part of that process, within the audit opinion, you'll also see discussion about management's responsibilities, the auditor's responsibilities, and also internal control discussion. So we are required each year, in conjunction with providing an actual opinion on the materiality of the financial statements, to take a look at the overall internal control environment. So we do go through detailed tests of controls. We are looking at policies, procedures, workflow, kind of the dotting of I's and crossing of T's within the finance department. Certainly, if there were any areas of concern, red flags, exceptions during our testing, we would have to have that conversation this evening. And we're happy to report there were no exceptions within our testing for internal controls. After the opinion, on pages 14 through 16 of the document, you will find, from the board's perspective, probably the most important section of the report. This is what we call management's discussion and analysis, or MD&A. 190 pages is an enormous amount of information to digest. This section, covering again pages 14 through 26, provides that executive summary to the results for each year. You will find comparables to the prior fiscal year, financial highlights, as you see indicated here. Overall, there was an increase in the village's equity during the year. We saw significant capital asset continued investment, as well as a decrease actually in bonded debt. As well as we've heard strong sales tax. That was certainly the case within the fiscal year as well. So strong revenues, continued investment in capital, and a decrease in bonded debt is obviously the driver of that increase in equity for the fiscal year. We'll flip to the general fund results specifically then on page 100 of the document. This page provides our budgetary scorecard, so what was the budget set at the beginning of the year, what was the final version of that budget, and then what were actual results. You'll see towards the bottom of page 100, the general fund was able to report a surplus for the year. Much of that you'll see is coming from the revenue side of that income statement, and truly the sales tax strength during the year, as well as still high investment returns coming in during the fiscal year as well. Expenditures, you can see, were well within the budget, so budgetary control on the expense side during the year certainly helped contribute as well. The last section of the document then, starting on page 153, starts what we call our statistical section. This is actually one of the mandated sections for the award program that we spoke of earlier. So this will take you all the way till the last page of the audit. Unfortunately, most folks don't get to page 153 in our audit, so I certainly want to make sure we point that out this evening. There is really a wealth of historical information at the back of the audit. You'll see here trends related to financial trends, the village's revenue capacity, debt obligations and debt capacity, demographic and economic information, as well as operating indicators. I always point out to our board, spending a little time at the back of the audit really does provide some nice historical context to the results for the current year. As part of the audit process, then, we also issue 2 separate letters to the board. The first is what we call our SAS 114 letter. This is really a standard communication letter. The categories that are required to be reported would be things like disagreements with management, if we propose journal entries that staff refuse to post, if we had a significant transaction that required the usage of specialists. We had none of those things, so this is truly standard language within the SAS 114 letter saying that everything related to the audit went according to plan. And then lastly, we also issue what we call our management letter. The management letter is our opportunity each year to point out some best practice recommendations as well as compliance changes coming down the pipeline. We did have 2 recommendations in the current fiscal year, and then we have provided updates to past recommendations as well. The first recommendation relates to funds over budget, very specifically tied to the Brewster TIF, as well as police pension. Brewster TIF was obviously closed out. We had kind of those final distributions, and so that is rather difficult to try to anticipate through the budget until that official closeout happens. Police pension really just related to what I would call the census data of the pension, of who's coming in and who's resigning and who's retiring. Again, we don't have that crystal ball always each year, so that's the overage there. Certainly, this is not an internal control finding. I really consider this more of a housekeeping item, but we do think it's best practice to point that out when we do have a fund that does go over budget. Obviously, there's a reason for both. And the second new recommendation is funds that are out of compliance with the village's reserve or fund balance policy. So many of the village's funds have policies around the level of fund balance that we want to maintain at the end of each fiscal year. In particular, golf and parking have dipped below that policy threshold. Both of those funds were unfortunately funds for any of our government clients that were hit relatively hard post-COVID, and certainly a lot of them have not rebounded as quickly as we might hope. And so that's really the driving force behind those 2 funds kind of dipping below those thresholds. I'm happy to open it up for any questions.
Question.
Yes.
Only because I used to work in accounting firms, and I know there's different kinds of audits. What other audits could we have, or how does this differ from other types of audits that we would consider?
Sure. So this is the type of audit mandated by the state, so that's kind of my first response there. So a financial statement audit, we call it. There are certainly other audit options, things like forensic audits, which typically last a very long time, and that's really deep diving into very detailed transactions. We are only sampling transactions during a financial statement audit. So typically the cost is much more significant than you pay for your financial statement audit. And again, that would be like a true deep dive into, layers and layers of transactions.
And would you have made recommendations for a deep dive if you saw something through this audit?
Possibly. There are some other alternatives that sometimes we do when we have findings. So not a full scope audit. I would not put it in a category of an audit, but what we call an agreed upon procedures, where you might deeper dive into a specific transaction area, where we would set a set of procedures with you all and then deep dive those procedures and provide results. Okay. So, but certainly nothing during this year's audit that we would make that recommendation.
Thank you.
Matt, so we talked about the funds under balance, and I see their response, which is fair. We're defending that. Is there any, or when do we get to talk about mechanisms to maybe claw those funds out of the deep debt that they're in, or reset, or do something so that maybe this isn't a finding next year, not a finding.
Yeah.
This is not talked about next year.
No, I think one of the things that we would like to do specifically with the golf, food and beverage,
And parking, right?
golf this year had good weather and good programming and basically broke even. Golf operations supported itself. Food and beverage costs are increasing. One of the things that I would recommend that we do is use the expertise of a outside food and beverage consultant to look at the operations at the golf course on the food and beverage side. There is a company that the Park District used when they took over operations at Villa Olivia. They also worked with Cog Hill, so they have some expertise on the golf kind of venue. They also do many other different kinds of food and beverage operations, but they do have specific golf expertise. I would like, and I also like their approach in that they work with the management and they work with the staff at Bartlett Hills together to come up with a plan and a list of recommendations. So I would recommend that we pursue getting some outside help.
So the recommendation is not necessarily a financial mechanism, it's more of trying to do better operations. And
I think
still
so.
borrow that debt.
If you look at the last few years of work on the food and beverage side, they have broken records since the pandemic. They have every weekend is booked. It's not for lack of trying, lack of effort, lack of creativity, lack of really, really hard work over at Food and Bev. But I think we just need some additional expertise to kind of take a fresh look at what we're doing. And the things that we've been doing, they've been incremental, they've been positive, but I don't think they look at more of the structural operations, and I think that's where we need some help.
I would, that recommendation, I'd like to make a motion that we implement that.
Can't take action on that tonight.
Can't take action on that tonight? Do I have to do it next month?
Bring it up under new business.
Yeah,
2 weeks.
we need to get the RFP out for it.
All right.
Thank you, Paula, I appreciate it.
All right.
Thank you, Jamie.
Thank you for having me.
Appreciate it. All right. That'll keep us a president's report. I have asked Trustee Gansey to read the proclamation for Small Business Saturday as a member of our new EDC board.
Our new Community Economic Affairs Committee. Proclamation recognizing November 29th, 2025 as Small Business Saturday in the Village of Bartlett. Whereas the Village of Bartlett recognizes the vital role that small businesses play in fostering economic growth, job creation, and community prosperity. And whereas Small Business Saturday is an American shopping event held on the Saturday after Thanksgiving during one of the busiest shopping periods of the year, emphasizing the significance of supporting small businesses that serve as the backbone of the American economy in our local communities, and whereas, first celebrated in 2010, Small Business Saturday draws shoppers to main streets across the country with great deals on unique products and services, events that encourage shopping locally, and unique experiences that introduce individuals to new venues. And whereas by supporting small businesses, we invest in the success of our neighbors, friends, and fellow community members, reinforcing the bonds that make the Village of Bartlett a wonderful place to live and work. And whereas the village has created an online dashboard where businesses can participate in adding their establishments to the Small Business Saturday online map, allowing shoppers to identify all participating businesses and their deals throughout the entire holiday weekend. And now, therefore, I, Stephanie Gansey, on behalf of Daniel H. Gunstein, President of the Village of Bartlett, Cook, DuPage, and Kane Counties, Illinois, hereby proclaim November 29th, 2025 as Small Business Saturday in the Village of Bartlett and urge all residents and visitors to join the nationwide effort to support local businesses and merchants. Dated this 18th day of November 2025.
There you go.
Concludes the President's report. That'll take us to questions and answers. Does anybody have any questions or concerns for staff or each other?
I have a couple of things. I'd like to recognize a couple of commissioners. We have Bob Gorski. He's had 4 years on the Economic Development Commission. And John Goetz, is that correct? John Goetz, a Bike and Run Committee, 7 years he's had. So congratulations, guys, and thank you for his service.
Did you say 70 years?
7 years. 7.
70 years?
7 years.
Oh, 7 years. I thought you said 70. I thought you guys got it at the same time.
That's how long I've been around. I have another question for staff. Really excited about the fountain / runner, and I know we're having a trial on that. I think it's scheduled for November 20th. Is that correct?
Yes, Thursday, probably between 9 and 2. We don't know exactly when they'll actually get to that part of it, but Thursday during the day, they will be testing it out.
Right. I would love to be there for that. So do you have any time? Or?
I'll be out there, so as soon as I get a time, I can send a thing out to Paula and she can send it out.
That'd be great. That'd be great, yeah. So that is the 20th, right? Okay. Thank you. That's all I have.
Wearing your swim trunks for that?
Bringing the fish.
It's fishing pole.
Goldfish.
Anybody else?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, you can go.
No, you go first.
Thank you. North Avenue, just kind of keeping up with it. I know that enforcement has started after we changed some of the fines and the regulations, just trying to see where that stands.
Yes, so we are making progress. As you know, the ordinance was passed in October. We had, as part of the upcoming ox cart permitting system that's coming into play, that'll go live December 1st, we lowered the weight restrictions on North Avenue from 12,000 to 10,000 pounds. Because of that, we gave a 30-day warning period or educational period. Now we will be able to enforce with the new ordinance and the new fee structure, the downtown area. So we look forward to the benefits of that as well as ox cart permitting that will be coming live in December.
Okay, thank you.
I know at the last meeting or the meeting before that, we talked about the benches for near our fountain or our river. Did staff have an opportunity to look at different?
You're talking about the swings?
Yeah, the swings.
We have not looked at new options for swings. It's just getting late in the season to even do anything with that right now, but we definitely can to bring back to the board in the spring.
Yeah.
If that's what you would like.
Excellent. And then also Bartlett Road and Route 20, the old gas station. It looks like it's in pretty good condition. Are we going to start selling that, or what's the process with that?
So we are waiting to hear from the IEPA if they will accept the pre-existing no further remediation letter. So once we hear from them, if they're going to accept the one that has already been recorded on the property, then we would be able to more actively market it.
Do we have any time frame on that, or?
They were hoping by the end of the year.
All right, excellent. Thank you.
They typically take under 20 days.
I would like to ask everybody to keep the Fletcher family in their prayers. This past week, Rita Fletcher, longtime director, longest-serving director of the Bartlett Park District, active member on our Bike and Run Committee, Rotary, and countless village events from merry and bright activities to 4th of July. She passed away this past week, and it's very sad for anybody and everybody that had a chance to work with her or work alongside her. So I ask that everybody keep her and her family in your prayers. So thank you. So, all right. With that, we will go to standing committee reports. Building and Zoning, Chairman Hopkins.
Thank you, President Gunstein. There is nothing to report tonight.
Thank you, Chairman Hopkins. Community and Economic Development, Chairman Gansey.
Thank you, Mr. President. We have nothing to report tonight.
Chairman Gansey, Finance Committee, Chairman Laporte.
Thank you, Mr. President. We have one item on the agenda this evening. It's the Bluff City TIF Developer Note Payout Number 7. Attached is a resolution approving Certificate of Expenditure Number 7 in the amount of $1,907,200 for public improvements and related costs in the Bluff City TIF. The resolution is to approve an increase to the 2009 developer note not to exceed $13,500,000. The note will be repaid as TIF increment becomes available. So I motion to approve Resolution 2025-112-R, a resolution approving of Certificate of Expenditure Number 7 in the amount of $1,907,200 for the subordinate lien tax increment revenue note, Series 2009, for the Bluff City Quarry redevelopment project.
I'll second that.
Motion by trustee Laporte, second by trustee Daney. Any discussion?
How many payments or what number are we going up to?
So the developer note is not to exceed 13.5 million. After this one, they have about 1 million remaining.
Okay, thank you.
So they should be almost done.
All right, no more questions. Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Gansey?
Yes.
Hopkins?
Yes.
Laporte?
Yes.
Swansky?
Yes.
Batterman?
Yes.
Daney?
Yes.
Thank you, Chairman Laporte. License and Ordinance Committee, Chairman Batterman.
Thank you, Mr. President. We have no items on the agenda.
Thank you, Chairman Batterman. Police and Health Committee, Chairman Swansky.
Thank you, Mr. President. We have nothing on our agenda this evening.
Thank you, Chairman Swansky. Public Works and Golf Committee, Chairman Daney.
Thank you, Mr. President. We only had one item on the agenda. It was covered on the consent. That's all we have for this evening.
Thank you, Chairman Daney. That'll take us to new business. Anybody like to discuss new business?
I would like to bring up a possible policy change for our inspectors. I was emailing back and forth with our village administrator, and I was asking just for some inspection reports on different projects, and in that process, I learned that not all of our projects that happen in Bartlett get inspected by our inspectors. And I would like to see how that became about. I think if electrical work or plumbing work or building work is being done in our town, they should be inspected by our building inspection team.
I just want to clarify that those are projects that are within the right-of-way that fall under the purview of Public Works. All the other buildings are inspected by our plumbing and electrical inspector.
Great, thank you for that clarification. So if we could add on a committee meeting to talk about this policy change, that would be great.
Just to clarify, any permitted work, private, is inspected by our village inspectors currently. Plumbing, electrical, building, correct? Public right-of-way work, hometown electric, Mead Electric, state road work, that's all inspected by their internal inspections, correct? Just want to clarify that too.
I just look at it from a standpoint that you have light poles being installed where my kids are going to be playing, and a licensed electrician is not inspecting that work. And if you ever look up the dangers behind people getting electrocuted by a light pole, it happens. So I just have an issue with this particular instance, and that's why I started asking questions, and that's why I would like to see some policy changes to do with this.
If we could get the ordinance as it's written right now, so we can have a discussion, see what the limitations are. I know you've looked this up, correct? And we can come back and have a discussion about it.
I need a clarification, because I feel like what I heard from you, Paula, is that this was part of, I know we had the contractor in, but it's part of Public Works, so it sounds like what I heard from you is that they're there or they're viewing this the entire time. Is that not correct?
Work that's in the public right away, or for instance, the streetscape project, I think is what we're talking about. I've never gotten permits from the building department for, but we do have inspectors inspecting the work to make sure it meets the design of the engineers that have put that together, who are licensed engineers. So it is being inspected by, they're not licensed electricians or licensed plumbers, but it's by people that have experience with electric and plumbing projects. So we believe that they are being inspected and they are being done properly. The installers of the work are licensed plumbers and licensed electricians. So we would expect them to follow the codes, and then we make sure that it gets installed properly. The other clarification is, I mean, our public works staff do a lot of work in the right of way as well. They are not licensed electricians or plumbers, so are we including public works? Because we're gonna have a lot of inspections. Is it just contractors or is it public works as well?
I mean, I think I led with, a possible policy change, and we can add this to a committee for a discussion. It doesn't have to happen here in new business. So I think some of the things you brought up could be added, comments and concerns and memos, and talking to maybe our inspectors about how they feel about it, I think that's a good start. So, I mean, opening the conversation is the first step, so I think that's where we're at.
Let's pull the ordinance, see what it looks like, see when it's been updated, and bring this back for discussion. I think that, or just send out a memo on what it actually covers under that. I don't think that having a plumbing inspector out at 2 a.m. for a water main break is going to be something that you're looking for. I think you're talking for projects that we contract out.
I'm talking about projects that can be a danger to the public.
It's like a third party.
So let's see what the ordinance reads, and we'll reconvene on that. All right.
That's all I have.
All right. Any other new business? All right. That said, can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by trustee Daney, second by trustee Laporte. Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Betterman?
Yes.
Amy?
Yes.
Gansey?
Yes.
Hopkins?
Yes.
Laporte?
Yes.
Swansky?
Yes.
We are adjourned.